the infrastructure, both private and public infrastructure in our country. Of course, we will also have presentation on mass employment. As we also know, as I've said, COVID has had very devastating impact on employment. There are millions that have lost their jobs. How do we ensure that people are again employed? So that's the role of government. Now, we also, within the context of economic recovery, how do we industrialize and how do we localize within the context of rebuilding, reconstructing and recovering our economy in the wake of the devastation caused by COVID-19. So those are economic matters that we'll be focusing on. But as you also know, one of the priorities apart from economic growth that we have as a country is dealing with crime and corruption. We have seen crime and corruption rearing their ugly heads. So this government, Lekgotla, will also say, how do we deal with crime and corruption? Of course, the last part, which is also linked to economic recovery, how do you do justice to the public purse, your public finances? What do you do in the wake of what has happened to boost your expenditure of your public purse and public finances? Broadly, that's what our government, Lekgotla, will be talking about. As we have said, it will be held virtually starting 10 o'clock now today, and it will continue until tomorrow. So it will be a 2-day government Lekgotla. As you know, our government Lekgotla includes our premiers. All our premiers includes representatives, the leadership of SALGA. So they will be part of this Lekgotla. At government level, of course, will be led by the president. All ministers will be there and all deputy ministers. So that is the sum total of the attendance of the Lekgotla. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Minister Samkela from the SABC here. Just on the issues of the economic recovery, we heard the president speaking in his other cap as the political head of a certain organization that governs the country of an 8-point staggered strategy of economic recovery. What are the figures that you are looking at for this stimulus package for economic recovery for the country?
Can we allow the Lekgotla to interrogate all those issues? As you will know, there is a document that has basically been public, a document on economic recovery that has also served before NEDLEC, our social partners, a document that we have consulted widely on. So there have been inputs from our social partners on how we can maximize on economic recovery, including on figures of employment, including on how do we improve the GDP of our country. So all those will be subject to the discussion that the Lekgotla is going to have now, implementation of this document that has been widely circulated. We are therefore at this stage unable to talk to figures. We can only talk to figures after we have concluded the Lekgotla as an outcome of the Lekgotla.
Mr. Mthembu, on a separate issue, the Secretary General of the governing party says he's aware that there is a pending warrant of arrest for him. The President has commended the work of law enforcement agencies. You, in your other cap as an NEC member, are you aware of any warrant of arrest for your Secretary General? I'm
not speaking as an NEC member, I'm speaking on behalf of government. If you want to ask matters pertaining to the African National Congress, it has its spokespersons. I can refer you to one, Pule Mabe. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Minister, since discussing, dealing with crime and corruption is going to be part of the conversation. Do you not think that you also have a duty to protect the integrity of state law enforcement agencies when such claims as the one being made now in the name of the Secretary General of the ANC are being made? Because it then impugns the integrity of state law enforcement agencies. It sets a state law enforcement agencies up for unwarranted attacks. Do you not think that you have a responsibility to protect the integrity of state law enforcement agencies?
Well, let's just be clear that we have every confidence in our law enforcement agencies, all of them, starting from our police, starting from our judiciary, including our NPA, the men and women who are working in that area, our prosecutors, all of them. As government, we have every confidence in our law enforcement authorities. So if there is anybody anywhere who would like to put them in a negative light, we will always come to their defense. That said, we will have a commission. One of the discussion points in this Lekgotla is how do we all deal effectively with corruption and crime, of course, giving all our support to all our law enforcement agencies, including our police, our NPA, all our SARS, as you will know, that also SARS deals with malfeasance in those who try to get some unwarranted money from SARS. So all these law enforcement agencies, we can assure you, they have got our back, as people will say.
But aren't you worried that this accusation that these state law enforcement agencies have been used for political, factional political purposes?
I can assure you that if Mthembu gets arrested for wrongdoing, Mthembu then can't hide behind the fact that he's a member of the NSC. Our law enforcement authorities and our crime-busting entities do not look at what political party you belong to. They look at what wrong have you committed. And from that end, we can assure South Africa that we will always be supportive of the work that is being done by our law enforcement authorities to curb corruption, criminality, and crime in our country.
Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Minister.
When are they issuing a warrant of arrest for you, Minister?
Not yet. Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you very much, even though you ask questions that you were not supposed to ask. But thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, it's all on me.
Yeah, you can count on some Gele to just throw in that last unexpected question. Now, the